Bonjour, bonsoir, je suis Ginkele.
Et moi, c'est Nicole Kele.
Nous sommes les Winners Music Ministries et nous avons l'honneur de vous avoir ce soir, soit ce matin, ça dépend de l'heure où vous nous recevez au fait, dans notre couple session, couple session, on appelle ça couple session en anglais, c'est la session de couple au fait. Et nous avons l'honneur de recevoir les couples Kutumbakana et le couple Matombi. Est-ce qu'on ne peut pas célébrer cela? Et j'aimerais déjà vous signaler que le couple Matombi aura 9 ans. 9 ans de mariage, ainsi que le couple Kutumbakana, 3 ans de mariage. Et nous là, bon, c'est combien encore?
7 ans cette année.
Ah, 7 ans.
Goes fast.
Bon, je savais que les femmes sont dures avec
Always.
les nombres, au fait. Alors, cette émission, nous avons intitulé cela les challenges. Parce que nous avons compris que les premiers ou à 5 ans de mariage, il y a des challenges, au fait. Et il y a des choses qui se passent. Alors, il y a plusieurs personnes qui choisissent d'abandonner, en fait, pendant tous ces temps-là. Et c'est vraiment une période de titubation, en fait. Hein? C'est une période de... Lorsque vous montez dans l'avion, qu'est-ce qu'on dit?
Turbulence.
Des turbulences, en fait. Alors aujourd'hui, nous avons la grâce d'avoir le couple Matombi qui auront aussi à se présenter.
Okay, my name is, I'm sorry, I'm going to speak in English the whole time.
Yes.
Okay, my name is Andrea Matombi, mother of 3 and wife to Gauthier Matombi.
Salut, moi c'est Gauthier Matombi.
Voilà, et le couple Kutumbakana.
Mon nom est Grace Kutumbakana et celui-là c'est mon mari.
Je suis Sagesse Kutumbakana.
Voilà.
Yes, thank you very much. Like you said, we chose younger couples for this particular session because we want to show other couples out there that are new in marriage or coming in, that are having problems and struggling, that you can make it. There are things that you can do to make it in your marriage. So that's why we particularly chose people that have not been married for a long time, because we know it's still fresh in your mind. You can tell, you know, the story with great remembrance. So I wanted to start with Andrea. I don't like to call her Andrea because I call her Yandi. This is very, but it's okay. With your couple, because I know that you've been through some challenges, and just being that you're the oldest couple here, if you can just tell us, like, when you first got married, what are those things where you felt like sometimes you were like, this is not going to work?
I would say whenever we first got married, we dated for a long time. We dated for 6 years.
Wow.
But you would think that after dating for 6 years, you know, it would be smooth, but no. When we got married, the issue was that I was super spiritual, and there were just certain things that I didn't want to budge. No alcohol in the house, no listening to worldly music. I was just in my box, and I didn't want to compromise on anything. And he, even though he was a Christian, so he decided to prevent problems, he just decided to give in to my request. And then he gave in and gave in and gave in, and it finally clashed. So we started having issues to where he wasn't being himself, and I was having issues with accepting that. So we clashed. We didn't have a honeymoon. I mean, our first year of marriage was a battlefield. Was a battlefield. So it was mostly that. We just, we didn't allow each other, or I would say mostly me, I didn't allow him to be himself because I wanted to keep this certain image of what Christian couples look like.
Okay, and for you, Gauthier, what was your experience like those first couple of years of marriage? What can you say about that?
Just like she said, I think it was very tough because you get to a point where you want to be yourself, but you can't because of, you know, the person you married to. But to me, I think it's all about decision. I decided to express myself to her, which is communication. We talked about it earlier. So it's big as well, you know. I decided to communicate with her that even though we're Christian, we can't be, your way of Christianity is not, it might not be my way. You know, I still serve a God, but I'm still myself, you know. So it took time, you know, for me to express that, but But look at us now. You know, we're going on 9 years, so
Yes.
it works.
It works. It works. I'm gonna go over here and ask you guys, what are those? You guys are still fresh, new. So I know that it's still fresh in your mind. Just one thing, maybe you felt like, okay, this. I don't know if I made the right decision.
Okay, thank you so much, Nicole. For me personally, it was letting somebody else guide you, like being your leader. It was like I was by myself. Comme ma maman dit toujours, un individu à part. And then you get married to somebody, you sharing the same home, the same house, and that person now has to lead you. And just like leaving my guard and letting this guy lead me, it's like, non, je suis aussi une personne, j'ai mes besoins, mais lui aussi c'est une personne, mais pourquoi? C'est comme s'il vivait ma vie, c'est comme si j'avais pas une vie. Et it was tough until I had to realize that when you get married, you become one, and even the Bible said, le mari est le chef. And tu commences à vivre une vie pas qui n'est pas la tienne, mais tu décides de te dire, bon voilà, comme c'est ce qui va faire que mon couple marche, comme c'est ce qui fait qu'on se dispute à chaque fois, peut-être il veut pas ça, ok, I'll let him lead, I'll leave his way. But I'm gonna tell you, it's not easy. Letting somebody guide you just like that, from nowhere, and there's somebody who's living your life, it's hard. And ça, c'est vraiment un des challenges que nous avons vécu au début. Et with God, we are here.
So just what can you say about that, or a different challenge that you had when you first got married?
Yeah, so the challenge I would say will be after we knew each other since 2009. So dating from 2009 and then getting married, there is a lot of expectation that you're seeing in yourself. Like, okay, once I get married, maybe stuff that I've been tolerating while dating, into marriage, inside marriage, is gonna
You're
be
not going to
different.
tolerate.
So I'm not gonna tolerate. I'm just gonna be like, yeah. So that expectation is kind of the beginning of, like the door of the challenges. Expecting things that you're not seeing, or it's not happening. That's one of the biggest challenges.
I love that you said that, because so many times we think that once you cross that bridge, automatically la personne va changer, les choses vont changer, and you come into the marriage like, it happened to me too. You think like, okay, so when we get married, this is, such and such will change, but it doesn't happen just because you said I do. It's something that you have to work at. It was a big challenge for me as well. So I wanted to ask a question. Yandi, you said something about the fact that you had your way of Christianity and you wanted him to live in that way. What made you like see his side? Like what was the conversation? What was that breaking point that made you be like, okay, maybe we need to review? And what did you actually do? Like the steps that you guys took in order to be like, okay, let's do our own thing. Let's review what we're gonna do for us, what works for us.
What made me see that side was facing divorce. So it was really bad for us. It got to the point where we faced divorce. So thank God we have amazing godparents, and family that helped us a lot. So it took that for us. I'm not saying it would take that for everybody.
Yeah.
But it took that for us because I was stubborn in my ways and he was stubborn in his ways. So in 2015, when we faced it, that's when we had to be like, okay, whoa, it took a step back, and he decided to finally express himself and to speak out. And I had to put my guards down because, I was stuck in my ways. So I had to put my guards down and kind of listen to it from try to see his point of view. So yeah. It took that. it took divorce for us. Not that we divorced. It took for us facing divorce. Yes.
Okay, so you got to a place where it was like the break. It was either we go or we stop.
Yes.
And then that's when you made the decision. Okay, let's look at this. And so my question, I guess, is to Gauthier, is what made you stay silent for so long? Like, what were you keeping? I feel like sometimes men feel like they can't speak out what they feel. So I want to help somebody else who maybe something's not right, but they're just tolerating or they're just taking it. Like, what made you do that, and what finally made you get out of your shell?
I think for me, by nature, I'm a very passive person. you know. And when we started our relationship, well, the marriage, in a way, I was trying to please Andrea, you know. Everything she'll say, I'll be like, yeah, okay, let's do it, you know. Always agreeing, never, you know,
Not
being.
always.
Most of the time, I'll be agreeing to what she wants to do, or you know, anything like that. But it got to a point where tu te sens un peu étouffé en fait. Where it's like, okay, I want to do this, but I don't really want to, but I don't want to deal with, you know, arguing and all that kind of stuff. But you know, I just made the decision. I'm like, you know what? After we dealt with talking about being separated and divorced, I decided I should be more expressive, you know, to express myself more. And for her to really see who I am, you know, and because it wasn't fair for her also to be in marriage with somebody she doesn't really know exactly, even though we dated for like 6 years before marriage. But, you know, you learn every day.
Mais moi, je peux dire une chose. Je suis un chrétien et moi j'ai toujours regardé le mariage comme l'image du Christ et de l'Église, en fait, pour moi. Et vous savez, le Christ a de la patience pour l'Église. C'est ce que je peux énumérer, les points là. Et l'image du Christ, c'est l'homme, en fait. L'homme, moi, je pense que l'homme, en nature comme ça, il n'aime pas des problèmes, en fait. C'est une personne qui n'aime pas assez de problèmes. Voilà pourquoi, j'aimerais juste aussi te donner l'exemple. Voilà pourquoi, même lorsqu'à la maison, il y a un ça ne va pas, je me tue totalement. Hein? Je suis calme, je garde, parce qu'en fait, l'homme n'a pas assez de paroles comme la femme en a. L'homme, il guide avec sa pensée, en fait, et il parle en gros. Il donne seulement les directives en gros. Mais c'est à la femme de décoder le gros là, en détail, en fait. Voilà pourquoi la femme a des détails, mais l'homme a le gros, en fait. Voilà pourquoi lorsque l'homme accumule beaucoup, that's it. That's it. Et lorsque tu pushes, you pushing a man, c'est-à-dire que il a trop de patience envers toi, il a trop de, il attend. Parce que souvent, vous savez, dans des problèmes, dans nos vies de couple, ce n'est pas seulement que la femme qui a raison. L'homme aussi peut avoir raison. Mais comme la femme a beaucoup plus la parole dans sa langue, en fait, elle multiplie les paroles. Comme les femmes, en tout cas, ils ont ces dons-là, en fait, de multiplier les paroles. Toi, tu peux dire que non, est-ce que tu ne peux pas m'apporter de l'eau, s'il te plaît? Robot. Donc, déjà, elle s'est. Donc, a commis déjà commis tiens en place que. Robot. On a dit, please, can you give me what? You don't know why that person asked you, because sometimes, je travaille à la poste. C'est-à-dire, on a une longue journée. D'abord, à la poste, c'est vraiment un système qui est beaucoup compliqué, en fait. Pendant les matins, déjà, avec les superviseurs, vous avez déjà des tensions. Je ne sais pas, les gens qui ont vécu longtemps aux États-Unis savent réellement ces termes qu'on a toujours employés à la post office. On disait « this person went postal ». C'est-à-dire que le matin, lorsque la personne arrive au travail, le travail lui donne beaucoup de stress et la personne commence à se fâcher. Vous voyez? Maintenant, pendant toute la journée, j'étais sous la chaleur. Je vous dis, les gens qui ont habité au Texas connaissent bien la chaleur du Texas. Sous la chaleur ou soit sous le froid. Et lorsque tu arrives à la maison, la première des choses que tu veux faire, de te reposer un peu là. Ce n'est pas un péché de demander à ta femme que non, can you please bring me some water? But la personne va projeter cela comme si tu étais en train de la demander les yeux de la tête. C'est dit, quoi? Tu vois, maintenant, lorsque tu demandes de l'eau et tu as une réponse pareille, bon, quelque part tu te dis, bon, ça va, I'm gonna wait until ma réunion saison à la normale, then we're gonna address that. But quand tu attends que quelque chose puisse retourner à la normale, que vous puissiez parler, il y a encore quelque chose qui apparaît. Donc, c'est-à-dire que toi, tu accumules, et Ouais, quand tu sais, lorsque un verre d'eau, vous mettez de l'eau, un jour ça va déborder en fait.
Overflow.
Hein, ça va toujours déborder. Donc c'est un peu ça ce que moi je pouvais rajouter. Pour les couples Kutumbakana. Voilà, donc qu'est-ce que vous avez fait pour surmonter cela? Parce que grâce à parler qu'elle déjà, comme je viens de comprendre, c'est qu'elle voulait parler, donc c'est-à-dire que c'est une personne qui a essayé un peu de vivre sa vie seule. Hein, alors maintenant, les mélanges là d'avoir quelqu'un leading her, hein, ça pose un peu problème en fait. Comment est-ce que vous êtes arrivé à vous mixer par rapport à ça? Parce qu'au départ déjà, vous savez, nous sommes chrétiens, tous nous sommes chrétiens. La Bible dit que l'homme, c'est la tête. Hein, donc, c'est ça en fait.
Merci beaucoup pour la question. Ce que j'allais dire, c'est que je vais d'abord ouvrir une petite parenthèse. Ce que j'allais dire, c'est que quand tu es une femme, il y a une certaine pression que la société met sur toi une fois qu'ils apprennent que tu es mariée. La société attend que tu sois, pas cette femme-là soumise, mais une sorte d'esclave dans une maison. Et moi, je pense que c'est ce que les hommes ont dans leur tête. When they go into marriage, they think like, okay, now she's mine, I bought her. You know what I mean? So, maintenant, non, je suis en train d'ouvrir une parenthèse un peu générale, tu vois. Ce n'est pas le cas de tous les hommes, pas le cas de mon mari non plus, mais c'est une parenthèse que je voulais ouvrir. Et ils veulent behave par rapport à la pression que la société met sur la femme dans sa maison, comment elle peut être. Je pense que ce n'est pas assez facile pour quelqu'un qui vit sa vie, qui est independent, and you get into marriage, now you have to depend on somebody else. Par exemple, moi, j'ai quitté la maison de mes parents, j'avais 17 ans. Et à 26 ans, you get married, et maintenant, tu dois dépendre de quelqu'un et laisser ton indépendance aller. It's not easy. Tu vois, it's really not easy. Et c'est que mon mari et moi, nous avons fait, nous nous sommes dit, on ne doit pas vivre selon les normes de la société. We have to have our own plan, do it our way, not other people's way. Et il y a une chose que j'ai toujours retenue, une fois, maman Nicole avait posté ça sur les réseaux sociaux, elle a dit, marriage is not one size fits all. C'est-à-dire, chaque mariage doit être customized, selon eux. Mais, unfortunately, avec la pression de la société, social media that we have now, people think they have like norms qu'ils ont créées eux-mêmes, comment une femme doit behave dans la société et comment un homme a acheté une femme en l'épousant. Et Sagesse et moi, un jour, on s'est dit, we gotta do it our way. Tu es une personne, je suis une personne, je comprends. Let's be transparent. Let's talk. S'il y a quelque chose, on doit parler dessus. If you don't like something, tell me. I'm gonna change it. And if I don't like something, I'm gonna tell you. Et c'est à partir de là que tu comprends que, OK, since you're the leader, I'm gonna follow you. But si tu nous conduis vers le mal, it's on you, not on me. Et c'est à partir de ce jour-là que nous sommes dit, OK, I'm the leader, you follow me. If I'm wrong, tell me, hey,
But
lead.
me, I feel like women have issue to follow, like to trust.
It's a trust issue.
Trust issue.
What I can add with that is, the thing is this: if I trust you that you're going to lead me to the right way, I'm following. But I think that the reason why it's not that women don't want to submit. It's when they look at something and it's like, I don't think he's going the right way. It brings a nervousness and it brings a kind of not a rebellious, but you stand up for yourself because you're like, okay, that's clearly the wrong way that this guy is leading me. So I think it's a trust issue. If I feel like if the young men came in ready, et puis déjà dans nos têtes, we know like half especially African men, they're coming in like low key, not ready. So it's like I know he ain't ready, so let me get ready because, you know, in case he mess us up, I'm good, you know? So that's the thing. I think if we have that trust in you guys or in the men that, okay, they're gonna lead us the right way, I think it would be easier for us to submit. Like, show us that you're a stand-up guy. Show us that you can pay bills. Show us that you can keep a job. All those things. Then we'll be like, I'm be a stay-home mom all day, you know? So I think that's the root.
Elle voulait ajouter quelque
Yes.
chose.
Oh no, I think I don't think we have an issue with submitting or trusting. I think there's an issue with defining what submission is.
Yes, that's a good
because a lot of people have a general idea of what submission. Like me and my husband, I won't even go far. me and my husband have an issue in defining what a strong character, is. He calls it, moi c'est makasi, I'm like, it's not a bad thing though. It's not a bad thing. If you're a strong-willed woman, you're a strong-willed woman. But in our society or in our community, it's automatically looked at as a woman who's not submitting. Me submitting to you doesn't mean that I have to agree with everything that you do. That's not submission. That's not some. Yeah, it's like me saying that you loving me means you're agreeing with everything that I do. So if you don't agree with me, that means you don't love me. Because if we're comparing the husband, Christ, and the church, Christ loves the church, and I'm the church, right? Did Christ, so did Christ agree with everything the church did? No, but Christ loved the church. So it doesn't mean because I don't follow all of your ways that I'm not submitting to you, right? Because I'm your helper. Oh Lord, these feminists gonna kill me. These feminists gonna kill me.
Vous savez aussi la domination de l'homme, moi je pense que ça a été lorsque la femme avait désobéi au jardin. Parce que vous savez, les paroles prononcées de Dieu par rapport à la femme, c'est-à-dire que les douleurs d'enfantement, et l'homme sera toujours, il va t'assujettir, en fait. C'est par rapport à au fait, pour moi, je pense qu'au départ, tout était bien. Mais sauf que lorsque la femme n'avait pas obéi à Dieu, en fait. Obéi, ou soit pas à Dieu, mais à l'homme, en fait. Parce que c'était à l'homme que le Seigneur avait donné l'instruction. Vous voyez? Alors, l'homme a transmis l'instruction à la femme et la femme a choisi d'obéir à l'homme, en fait. Alors, c'est à ces moments-là que le Seigneur, lorsqu'il est rentré le soir là, il commençait à juger par rapport à tout un chacun, la manière dont ils se sont comportés. Et il a dit à la femme que l'homme sera toujours au-dessus. Vous voyez? Donc, moi, je pense que suivre l'homme, pour moi, you have to trust first. Trust en français, on dit c'est la confiance, en fait. On te prêche Jésus et tu fais confiance à Jésus. No matter what he's gonna tell you to do, tu fais confiance, en fait, à la personne. Laisser la personne te trahir au lieu de que tu puisses déjà te sauver avant. Non. Laissez d'abord la personne la place qu'il puisse travailler. Et moi, je pense que c'est ça le plus grand problème. Je ne sais pas si le couple est Kutumbakana.
Merci. Ce que je peux ajouter, c'est quand je parlais de l'expectation, beaucoup de jeunes couples, beaucoup de couples who are trying to date, who are dating, when they're in that period of dating, vous savez, il y a des expressions, il y a d'autres gens au pays, par exemple, en Afrique, qui se disent toi, Zéla, tu n'as balio au monde. Ça veut dire que déjà, nous avons une idée là ou une image que nous avons en tête. Et dans le mariage, ça change un tout petit peu. Moi, je pense que l'homme a un devoir d'avoir un grand cœur et d'écouter. Quand tu écoutes, tu sauras quel type de femme tu vis avec. Combien elle peut ajouter on what you have as ideas. So we, as men, we always have to be open. As a leader has to be open and listen. Listen, then think. Don't just take a decision in a rush. Take your time, think. She might be right. And give her the credit if it's to be given. I always do that. So if it's a credit to give, once you don't say credit, you are right, and I'm going to change what I was thinking. Et ça, c'est la meilleure des choses. Et we expect a lot, que moi je pense que tu dois te faire une liste et tu te dis, ok, sur cette liste ici, je me disais peut-être que la femme doit préparer pour moi 3 fois par jour, mais elle ne le fait pas, elle ne la fait pas, elle le fait pas, sorry. Elle doit nettoyer la maison, elle doit faire ceci, cela. On that list, start working on one thing step by step. Parler, fixer. Once one is fixed, you jump to the other one. Si tu te dis que cette femme ici, comment elle est à la maison, elle est orgueilleuse, elle parle trop. Ok, fixe d'abord l'orgueil en communiquant. once you feel that it's being fixed, you jump to another défaut que tu te dis que c'est un défaut. Mais il y aura toujours des défauts. Mais you'll have time until the end of your day, keeping on fixing. But when you're seeing improvement, you're good.
Papa Gauthier.
I think
Le
for me,
docteur.
I think for me, marriage it's really something for the mature. You know, you have to be mature to be. I call it a league. You have to be mature to be in this league. You don't have to be ready, you know, because it's a learning journey as you go. But you have to be mature enough to be part of it. You know, for the men, there's a reason why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, just like you said earlier, because you want to listen, and it's not wrong to listen to your wife. You know, my wife been a blessing to me in my life. You know, she brought a lot of good things in my life, and that's because I was able to listen to her. It didn't make me a weaker man. It didn't make me a loser or, you know, whatever they call it these days. But it built me up to be the man that I am today. So it requires a lot of maturity, you know, to be married. It requires a lot of, you know, patience. You know, you need that as well. That's one of the things you need for marriage, yeah.
Yonji, I would just like to say for the last word, what can you give a young woman who's newly married and she's struggling right now? Like, what is 1 or 2 things that you can tell her, like, to do so she can be able to surmonter whatever it is that they're going through?
I would say it's cliche, but of course, you have to be a woman of prayer. Whether we want to or not, it's very important. If we were able to go through whatever we went through, it was prayer. But above that, also educate yourself. Whenever we were going through our problems, I started reading books about other women that were facing things, not just Christian books, but actual books about women that were going through issues in their marriage and the communication or whatever it was, divorce. And also find something that makes you happy. Because at times as women, we put the expectation of happiness on our husbands. We expect for them to make us happy, so it brings that stress. And then because you have that expectation of, okay, he's responsible for my happiness, then, you know, you don't know yourself, you know. So you have to find something that defines you. What makes Andrea me? Before I was Gauthier's wife, I was Andrea, you know. So you gotta know who you are.
Guys, just one last word for a young woman who's either aspiring to get married or is just stepping right into the door. What can you say from what you've learned?
Ce que je dirais à une jeune fille qui veut se marier ou une jeune fille qui vient juste de se marier, c'est d'apprendre à être patiente. Et aussi, when you wake up every day, look at yourself in the mirror and look at a reflection of yourself. Tell yourself, est-ce que si ce mari-là, cet homme-là était comme moi j'étais, j'aurais voulu être avec lui. Et je pense que c'est de cette façon-là que tout ira mieux. Et aussi, comme la sœur Andrea vient de le dire, you have to pray, but prayer is not enough. If you're not taking steps or actions, it's not gonna work. You have to take actions, take steps, listen to them, talk to them, communication. You have to communicate. Talk to them all the time and learn to be patient. You're not living with your brother, you're living with somebody who's coming from a whole different family. You guys don't know each other, not at all. And you have to accept them as they are and work it out.
Thank you so much. I think that was just such great advice. I love that we can talk to people who are either married or getting married, because sometimes people don't have somebody that could give them straight up advice like this. So I'm glad that we're able to do this. I hope that you got something out of it. One thing that I would like to just remind you guys is that we're not doing this just to tell the story, but we want you to learn from their story, to learn from their story, so you can apply it in your own life. If you're having issues, like Yondi said, you can read books, you can find people to help you. You can go beyond what you're going through. Don't give up on your marriage just because one thing is wrong. If there's a problem, there's probably a solution. If there's a problem, there's probably a couple that's been through it. Nothing's new under the sun. Don't give up on your marriage because of that turbulence of the first couple of years. I don't know if you have something to add to that.
Ce que j'aimerais dire, c'est que le mariage n'a pas de manuel, en fait. Les difficultés que les couples Kutumbakana a, ce n'est pas les difficultés que le couple Gauthier aura et notre couple aussi. Vous voyez, donc tous nous sommes différents. Et chacun de nous, they have their challenges, you know. J'aimerais compléter ce que Gauthier avait dit, que le mariage, c'est un terrain des matures. Si tu n'es pas mature, cherche la maturité, comme ça tu vas te marier. Et beaucoup plus, lorsque tu viens dans les mariages, apprends aussi à changer, parce qu'au nom de l'amour, tout est possible. Tu peux toujours changer. Que le Seigneur vous bénisse. Si vous nous suivez pour la première fois, nous sommes le groupe Winners Music Ministry. Abonnez-vous sur nos pages Instagram, Facebook et sur YouTube. N'hésitez pas à vous inscrire et à cliquer la cloche là des notifications. Guy Michele sur YouTube. Que Dieu vous bénisse. Amen.